It is a little corner of paradise that is still preserved in a new and developing area for high-end tourism in Europe. At an hour-and-a-half flight from Paris, in the north of Portugal, is the Douro Valley. 44,000 hectares of vineyards, classified as historical heritage. It is in this idyllic setting that Marie-Eve and her family decided to spend a 3-day holiday, separated from the rest of the world.
Whoa, it's awesome.
For the French mother, her husband John, of Irish origin, and their 2 children, Mateo, 13, and Ta, 11, the vacation starts with a cruise along the Douro River.
I love the Douro region because it's a well-hidden jewel and it's super relaxing. There is no noise, no construction. They are just peculiar houses. It's exotic and it's gorgeous.
The vineyards and everything is so beautiful.
It's wonderful.
Marie-Eve and her family are not tourists like others. For the past few months, they live in Lisbon, the capital of Portugal. Marie-Eve runs the shop department of a large luxury hotel group. John is an automotive consultant. If they settled in this trendy touristic country, it's for its authentic landscapes and a quality of life that they cannot find elsewhere.
Stand over there, Taya.
All alone on the river in the middle of the vineyards, Taya, the youngest, seems to be reliving an epic scene from a popular Hollywood movie. And the 2 kids haven't seen it all yet. Thanks to his job in the hotel industry, Marie-Eve is entitled to free stays in her group's luxury hotels. So she booked this former 19th century mansion, transformed into a 5-star.
So where is the villa?
Marie-Eve and her family will have the privilege of sleeping in a prestigious villa. 100 square meters with exceptional comfort.
Wow.
A living room of 50 square meters with a fully equipped kitchen.
I think that's for you.
2 large suites, including one for children.
There is a TV in the bedroom.
Oh no, that is not good.
And the cherry on the cake, each room has its own bathroom.
Look to the left.
Oh my God, look at the bath. It's all mine.
This villa is rented for 1,000 euros per night. Marie-Eve and her family will be able to enjoy a wonderful private garden with its own pool.
Oh my gosh, it is beautiful.
How is the pool?
Amazing.
It's heaven.
Under a scorching sun, Ta, the youngest, cannot resist the attraction of the water despite their clothes.
It's too good.
3 years ago, this hotel was almost abandoned, but the group that Marie-Eve works for had a feeling that Portugal had the wind in its sails and it was necessary to invest quickly. And they were not wrong. Today, this mansion is sold out all year round. The tourists are American, English, and French, a wealthy clientele who have taken residence in Portugal. A tiny revolution because 5 years ago, the country was experiencing a serious economic crisis.
We came here 7 years ago, and we were a little shocked. To say to yourself that of the European Union, it was still not well developed, but then a sudden incredible boom. Now it's manicured everywhere.
In 2 years, this region has grown from 200,000 to over 1 million annual visitors. An 80% boom should not stop there, because Portugal has other untapped treasures.
It's fresh, but it's perfect.
With 300 days of sunshine per year, breathtaking landscapes, among the most beautiful beaches on the continent, and a very cheap cost of living, Portugal has been awarded the best tourist destination in Europe. This country of 10 million inhabitants, 6 times smaller than France, has even surpassed the 20 million visitor mark last year. A historic record, Everyone is rushing here, the big fortunes and the celebrities. Like Madonna, members of the princely family of Monaco, Monica Bellucci, or even Harrison Ford. A real feat of strength because 5 years ago, the country was on the verge of bankruptcy. Today, Portugal is on the move and the government is bringing out its best assets to encourage foreigners to settle in the country. New residents may even be exempt from taxes on their income, a mini tax haven that has already seduced 50,000 French. It is the case with Robert and Chantal. They feel like they've won the lottery.
Wow, we tell ourselves it is the first time that we've seen zero taxes to pay.
Philip also decided to take the dive. This Frenchman intends to buy a villa by the beachside. And here he is spoiled for choice. The country is an Eldorado for real estate agents.
Do you picture yourself in this house?
Absolutely.
But the arrival of these foreigners does not only have good sides. In Lisbon, the capital, tensions arise between local residents and tourists. To rescue his neighborhood, which has been invaded by thousands of partygoers, Louis wages war on them. You will see that his troubles are not over yet.
We're sick and tired of these tourists who pretend not to see the inhabitants.
Lords fights to defend the Portuguese threatened with expulsion because many landlords are trying to send the locals away to rent out their houses to tourists.
You are notified by an eviction notice.
In his peaceful village, George sees villas at several millions of euros, sprouting like mushrooms. Between this farmer and the fortunes who settle on his land, it is a dialogue between the deaf.
They think that because they buy at expensive rates, they come before us.
Tax havens, mass tourism, and clash of cultures, an investigation into Portuguese madness. Lisbon, one of the most beautiful capitals of Europe, is the new mecca of tourism on the continent. With 5 million visitors last year, comprising 1 million French, they land in their numbers thanks to the 92 regular flights that serve the city every day. It must be stated that it has several benefits. 2 large sandy beaches at 15 minutes drive distance from the center. And with its trams, its typical architecture, and its culinary specialties, it has managed to preserve a unique authenticity. But today, Lisbon is a victim of its own success, especially at night. Here, in Bairro Alto, we're on the verge of an overdose of tourists.
Too good.
On less than 1 square kilometer, over 300 open-air bars. In a few hours, several thousand youths invade these alleys. Americans, Italians, Germans, and French.
Hi.
They all come for the festive atmosphere and most especially for the cheap alcohol. A drink costs about €1.
Cheap alcohol is great. Above all, do not increase the price. We are very sensitive to that. It is decisive.
I didn't pay anything.
Dozens of reelers even sell shots directly in the street.
This is the best cachaça in Brazil, I can assure you.
Party without end for some, and a nightmare for others. Louis and his wife Cleisha live right above these bars.
Where the lights are on, it is our home, with the 4 windows over there.
For the past 11 years, they have been owners of an apartment on the 4th floor. Except that ever since the invasion of tourists, living here for them has become hell.
It's awful. We can't even get through. We are tired of these tourists who pretend not to see that there are inhabitants living here. It has become an amusement park for partygoers, and that has to stop.
Tourism has a positive effect on the country's economy, but on the other hand, it is destroying our lives and all that has been built here.
In the middle of the crowd, Louis and Cleisha are even being solicited by reelers who mistake them for tourists.
Come on, guys. Let's go, come in.
16 shots at €6. That means that a shot costs 50 cents. Look at it.
Obviously, you can't find it cheaper than that.
Does that make you smile?
Oh no, not at all. It proves that the aim is to get tourists drunk as quickly as possible.
Consequence, not a night goes by without things getting out of hand. Louis and Klesha are disgusted.
Look at that. Look what they're doing. For me, that's real nonsense. Partying in all its extremes in a neighborhood that is primarily residential. And the law allows that. Look over there on the ground. The person is completely drunk and can't even stand up. That's what happens more and more every day on these streets.
Ethyl coma, unbridled attitude, and a new phenomenon the Portuguese were not used to have appeared on its streets.
It smells weird.
Yes, it smells like drugs.
Dealers have taken over the neighborhood, and they have no compunction about accosting tourists. Equipped with a hidden camera, it only takes a few seconds before a dealer offers us drugs.
I have MD, hashish, and coke. You can't get any better. 1 gram of cocaine is 60 euros. If you buy more from me, I can make you a good price. If you want, you can taste it first.
As a good salesman, he even invites us to try the goods in the middle of the street.
Come on, come on. Come and test.
No, thanks.
In Portugal, the law punishes drug trafficking with 5 years in prison, but obviously it is not a problem for this dealer. And even more surprising, he doesn't even bother to hide the drugs. He unpacks his sachets for everyone to see.
Are there no police here?
Here. No.
According to this dealer, the police don't even patrol the neighborhood in order not to disturb the holidaymakers. Here, the tourists are kings, and too bad for the locals. Returning home, after midnight, Luis and Klesha are not about to sleep, though the couple did not install double glazing but double windows. But it makes no difference.
It keeps going on. There are even still more young people. It's going to be like this all night. That's the noise we hear. Even with double windows, we are unable to sleep at night. It doesn't end until 3 o'clock in the morning. Hence, we are exhausted when we wake up because we only slept 4 or 5 hours, no more.
Due to these disturbances, the neighborhood has been emptied of its population. In the last 6 months alone, over 500 inhabitants have deserted it. For Luis, this transformation doesn't go down well.
Look here. This was our neighborhood before when we got here. It was very quiet. A small, nice, traditional Portuguese neighborhood. Today, it looks nothing like that.
The couple can't afford to go elsewhere. So, to try to have peace in the neighborhood, one day Luis had an idea.
Look at this woman. She sleeps on the street as if it were a disco.
He shot this short video to show the authorities what was going on just downstairs of his house.
We filmed in quite a few places to show noise and alcohol abuse, and we sent it to Lisbon City Hall, but we had no response. Nothing was done.
Luis and Klesha feel abandoned by the authorities, and they are not the only ones. One evening, one of their neighbors had an unpleasant surprise.
The young people took the fire extinguisher, emptied it in the hall, and wrote this English swear word to the neighbor. We just asked them to make less noise. We called the police, but they did nothing because the tourists bring in a lot of money to the city. We, the inhabitants, are definitely the weak link.
We are really sad. Well, okay, the tourists are here, but they also brought a lot of problems, and we don't know what to do anymore.
Several associations have written to the government to demand measures to protect residents. Not sure they're going to get their way, because the Portuguese authorities have decided to roll out the red carpet to foreigners and not only to tourists. To encourage them to move here, the country released a very attractive tax arsenal to the extent of exempting them from taxes. The first to have taken advantage of it were French pensioners. Many of them have settled in the Algarve, located in the south of Portugal, a region renowned for its sandy beaches and its innumerable golf courses. But with all these French people, one of the most beautiful seaside resorts on the coast, Vilamoura is now nicknamed the Portuguese St. Tropez. This is where Robert and Chantal set their bags 2 years ago. The couple bought themselves an apartment in this luxury residence located 5 minutes away from the sea.
Will you make me a coffee, but with a little bit of milk, please?
There you go.
A beautiful 3-room apartment with a terrace in addition and a shared swimming pool with all residents of the residence.
We have about 100 square meters. There are 2 suite bedrooms. We also chose this apartment for the view, which is also very pleasant. We paid
a little over 230,000.
230,000 euros. Well, for that price, I think in France, it will be hard to find.
Robert used to work for a big chemical company. His wife, Chantal, was a stay-at-home mom and looked after their 2 children. One of the advantages of their investment in Portugal, having breakfast on the terrace almost every day of the year.
Good. Since a tough day ahead of us. An overheating sun.
But if they left France, it's not just for the climate. The real advantage of Portugal is its very advantageous tax system. Incredible as it may seem, by settling here, the couple that earns a comfortable pension in France no longer pays any taxes. A jackpot that will last 10 years.
France is the champion of taxes, cuts, and duties. She's the champion of Europe. So that's why we left France.
It is a legal measure put in place by Portugal with the agreement of France to bring in foreigners and assist in the economic recovery of the country. Chantal and Robert have in fact obtained NHR status, non-habitual resident. Thanks to this document, the couple is exempt from tax.
It's awesome. It sums up to 0. There you go. 0 income tax for 10 years.
It's great.
When you saw that little 0 there, how did you feel?
You say to yourself, this is the first time I see 0 taxes to pay. In France, it has never happened. It is clear. We are very happy, that's for sure. Anyway, thanks Portugal. French people, come to Portugal.
Robert and Chantal have no remorse because without taxes, of course, they have a tremendous increase in their purchasing power. In Vilamoura, the couple spends most of their time playing golf, a hobby that he also practiced in France, but very occasionally.
Hi, Eddie. How are you?
The 2 French pensioners did not have too much trouble acclimatizing.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm okay. And what about you?
Hi, Marcel.
How are you?
Well, what about you?
Yes.
They made many friends, for the most part, exiled who left France for the same reasons. Here, everyone benefits from the same tax advantages in all legality.
That was nice.
Yes, honestly. What a pro. That's the good life in Portugal. We're not going to complain.
No, not at all.
We're tired, though.
It's a dream life. A dream life.
He did a birdie, so he has to drink.
Yes, I'm entitled to
There
that.
you go.
Today, there should be over 10,000 pensioners settled in Portugal, and the trend doesn't seem to be going to change anytime soon.
How are you, sweetie? So you see, these are the migrants of Portugal.
The migration flow has been reversed. In the past, it was the Portuguese who came to Paris, France. Today, it's the other way around.
Marcel, 2 years as an NHR. His boat is here.
2 years is enough to pay for a boat like that.
Robert and his friends are only half joking because in this new tax haven, they have a standard of living that they could never have had in France. Here, the prices are averagely twice as cheap as in the south of France.
I think that indeed, we would go to the French Riviera like this at the marina. There's no such thing as a beer at 3 euros. You will only have the bottle cap at that price. We don't have a beer. It's impossible in France. We have seen it in the last few years. People go on vacation, but they go to restaurants less, they consume less, and they make grub at home. Meanwhile here, what if we went out for a bite? Hop, we're going to the restaurant. There you go. That's why I put on a bit of weight. To Portugal.
Chantal and Robert don't just enjoy life. Over their 60s, they have found a second life and are taking on new challenges.
Hello.
Hi, Chantal.
He's taking advantage of it.
Robert, how are you? Are you good?
Okay.
This afternoon, they made an appointment with this French-Portuguese real estate agent and his architects for a project dear to their hearts. The couple wants to have a villa built in Portugal. Here are the plans for their future home.
In terms of the size of the pool, what do you think? It's located in the bedroom area. But I think we can still.
8 by 4. Yes, 8 by 4.
It's 8 by 4.
The building will be over 200 square meters at a total cost of around 450,000 euros. For pensioners, it's a daring adventure, but they are confident.
This is our first building experience, so we trust the professionals to better project ourselves into the project, because it is not easy for us. Already the plans, etc.
The company has plenty of orders like this. In its drawers, most of them come from the French. They represent 80% of the clientele. Good business for this agent. But on the other side of the coin, in Portugal, real estate prices are exploding.
We have apartments that cost 110,000 euros a year ago, which are now on sale for 140,000 or 150,000. In extreme cases, on the seafront, we had apartments that sold 2 years ago for 150,000.
Is it the fault of the French?
It's the fault of the French.
If everything is fine, Chantal and Robert should be able to enjoy their pool in a year. In Portugal, the French are champions at investing. For over a year, they have been buying 1 out of 3 properties. A figure that is hardly believable. As a result, prices spiked in record time. In the capital, they have risen by 20% in just 2 years. Unheard of, and the recently settled French are suffering the effects. It is in Belém, a Lisbon district very popular with tourists for its famous tower and its monastery, where Mary Eve lives with her 2 children in this pretty 2-story house.
Snack. Here you go.
It's 4 p.m. It's the return from school.
So what's the score?
It's 0-0.
Even far away from France, Théa and Mattel don't miss a single game of their favorite soccer team. For them, adapting to Portugal was easy, despite the wearing of the uniform.
It's a skirt for girls and a white polo shirt. Then there are the long socks. It's easier in the morning. There is no need to hurry. There is only one thing and not a lot of clothes to choose from. You just have to take it.
Gray or white?
When Mary Eve moved to Lisbon a few months ago, the capital was already in the middle of a real estate bubble. There were not many goods available on the market anymore, but Mary Eve was lucky to find this beautiful house.
It's the typical Portuguese house with the marble on the ground. Afterwards, we go to the dining room overlooking the garden, which is very pleasant. You have a floor above with space for the children. There you have a bathroom, and there you have the TV room and the children's shared bedroom. There you have the garden. It's nice because you're out in nature with lemon trees, orange trees, etc. And you are in Lisbon anyway.
In total, 200 square meters with a garden. Therefore, nothing to complain about, except that Mary Eve rents the house at 3,500 euros per month, a huge budget that no longer suits her. So she decided to invest.
It's very expensive for what it is. This is not the budget we had to put into renting the house. All these reasons make us want to leave. That's why we bought elsewhere.
It's right in the city center of Lisbon, in Lapa, that Mary Eve has just had the keys to her new apartment. She found a good deal that she is proud to show to a friend.
So it's on the top floor, on the third. I need your advice on decorating. There you go. Here we're going to break the wall, remove the bathroom, and break the wall to have a space like this. Living room and kitchen here. Here and there. The view also. Small balcony, but the view is nice. I love the neighborhood.
It's very nice.
The neighborhood is great and super lively.
By the way, there are more and more French people residing here.
For this 180 square meters apartment that looks almost Haussmann, Mary Eve pays 3,000 euros per square meter, twice as cheap as market rates, because the neighborhood has become overpriced. In just 3 years, the square meter has risen from 1,500 to 5,000 euros, more than triple.
Financially, we were extremely lucky with the price because, in fact, the owner is an American lady who lives in Switzerland. She really wanted to get rid of the apartment. Normally, it is around 5,000 or 6,000 depending on the renovation. And here, we bought it at 3,000.
A stroke of luck that Mary Eve still has trouble believing when she takes a look at the latest adverts in the area. Even for rent, the prices are exorbitant.
Look, now this is to let. It's 53 square meters at 1,250 euros. Therefore, it's
almost
expensive.
As much as in some neighborhoods in Paris. The problem is that wages in Portugal are much lower. As a result, these budgets are completely beyond the reach of the Portuguese.
Today, the Portuguese can no longer live in Lisbon. It's too expensive. When you have a minimum wage of 580 euros per month to find. There, you have 53 square meters at 1,250, so that's twice this MIC. So there is a gap between real estate and what the Portuguese can really afford.
Mary Eve should be moving into her new apartment in 3 months. In some parts of Lisbon, voices are being raised against this rise in real estate prices because they threaten to expel the Portuguese. Alfama, a traditional district invaded by tourists. This is where Lord Pinheiro lives.
Good morning.
I haven't seen you in the neighborhood in a while.
Yes, it's been a long time.
This woman set up an association to defend residents in difficulty.
Good morning, Antonio.
Good morning.
Today she is coming to visit this man, Antonio, 67 years old, because he is facing eviction.
So how is it going?
I am resisting calmly.
The old man lives alone in this apartment of about 32 for 11 years, and he is attached to it. But today, he is exhausted because he is being woken up every morning by this noise that he recorded.
It's like that as from 8 in the morning. You can hear machines demolishing walls.
This noise is coming from upstairs where major renovation works are in progress. A daily nightmare for Antonio. When he complains to workers, the conversation is cold.
I'm warning you, you're not allowed to come here.
Yes, but I had to leave home due to the noise.
I have no choice. I have to start early.
These repairs are a means of exerting pressure by the owner of the building to send Antonio away. He is now the only tenant. Everyone else left when as soon as they got this letter.
You are notified by an eviction notice. This notice allows the owner to initiate the procedure.
The owner gave Antonio 3 months to leave the premises, and to force him to leave faster, he makes him live in construction hell.
At first, the owner even wanted to build stairs here.
The problem is that he started to dig into your apartment. They will be in your room, and you will sleep on the street. Don't let it happen.
This harassment of which Antonio is a victim is unfortunately legal. 6 years ago, the government introduced a law that gives owners a lot more freedom. They can evict tenants without the obligation to rehouse them.
Legally, the owner has the powers to throw him on the street. He can call the police and get him out of here.
After that, where do I live? Last time I went to look at an apartment, the owner asked for 425 euros per month.
If Antonio stays here, it's because he can't afford to live elsewhere. His pension is barely 600 euros per month. Half goes to pay the rent, the rest goes to the bills and a few meager groceries.
I have soup, yogurt, some juices. I also have a bit of cheese.
At the end of the month, he doesn't have a dime left to live. To help him, an association brings him lunch at noon.
Today it's cod. Some days are better than others. I also have bread and fruit.
That's a way for him to save money. If he did not have this help, how could he feed himself with the little money he has?
Antonio filed an appeal to the town hall. At the moment, there is no response. According to a recent study, there are 35 expulsion notices every month only in the capital. This situation revolts Lourdes. Today, she blames the state, but also tourists.
Lisbon is fashionable, but the city is not just for tourists. It also belongs to the Portuguese, and that is what we demand.
Do you think tourism is killing your neighborhood?
Of course.
The government makes laws to protect foreigners, but it does not protect the Portuguese. Go on, goodbye. More power to you.
Okay, thanks.
If the country has come to this point, it is because today the Portuguese prefer to rent their apartments to tourists. On average, in Lisbon, rent costs 300 euros per month. But to vacationers, an owner can rent at 100 euros per night, or 3,000 euros at the end of the month. The result is frenzy, and in the neighborhood, the owners no longer want to rent to the Portuguese.
All of this has become tourist accommodation. Look, the proof. There's a couple arriving just now. That's accommodation for tourists. You even have a digital code. Over 70% of buildings are now for tourists. To see these millions of people who fill our streets, they prevent us from moving, making the city dirty. Today, the cup is full. It's getting out of control, and that's very bad for the people who live here.
In some places in the capital, the Portuguese have completely deserted the place, and people only speak French or English. This is the case on this rooftop. Formerly very popular with Portuguese, it has become a stronghold for foreigners. It is also here that Marie-Yves is used to with his French girlfriends.
Caro.
Like them, several hundred come every evening to this trendy place to admire the statue of Christ the King and the 25 April Bridge.
We have a nice view.
All are foreigners and no one is surprised here.
It's true that, between French people, we get along quite a bit. We meet, we see each other, we share. As a result, there is a very international atmosphere. Every year now, it's becoming a real European capital out and about too.
Today, 50,000 French live in Portugal. Over 90% of them settled in the last 3 years. And those who take the dive are the richer ones, because for them also, the country offers huge tax benefits. One of the reasons why Philip is here, on the fancy street of Lisbon, nicknamed the Champs-Élysées Avenue. This morning, he has an appointment with lawyers.
Good morning.
Good morning, lawyer.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Philip has his own architectural firm in the south of France, but he would like to buy a villa in Portugal, and he hopes to get the famous NHR, the status of non-habitual residence. This would allow him not to pay taxes at all on his French income for 10 years.
Every year, I look at what my accountant tells me. You're going to have to pay for that. Oak. With respect to turnover, it can go up to 40% if you have a very good year.
If compared to France, how much would that be in savings?
I don't know. I have not started any simulation.
If you do the math for 10 years, all added up, it is several tens of thousands of euros.
And this status, Philip would be entitled to it because after having made golden bridges for French pensioners, the government has extended the measure to other professions with high added value.
This is the list of professions. There are architects, engineers, all professions related to music, singers, artists. There are also senior managers and business leaders.
To avoid paying taxes on your French income, there are rules nonetheless. You have to become a homeowner in Portugal, not having been taxed in the country in the last 5 years and living there for at least 183 days in a year. On paper, this last condition is the most stringent, but it makes these specialist lawyers smile.
If you look closely, senior managers or business leaders, they travel all year round. Most of them are not in Portugal 183 days.
Are there checks?
No, of course not. It's hard to control. Portugal has no interest in doing so.
Philip can rest assured because the situation is not expected to change anytime soon.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Welcome to Portugal.
And it gets better. To attract the richest foreigners, the government offered them other privileges. For them, no wealth tax, no inheritance taxes, and no taxes on royalties either, copyrights affected by artists. As a result, for some time now, the entire international jet set is parading in the country. The singer Florent Pagny, actress Isabella Gianni, and former soccer player Eric Cantona. All of them spend their holidays here, and some have even bought a villa there. Their secret hideout, the village of Comporta, 1 hour south of Lisbon. At first glance, this quiet little town is not paying off. A single grocery store, a few cafes, and restaurants in empty streets where storks have taken up residence. And yet, when you gain a little altitude, hidden in the middle of this pine forest, out of sight, luxury villas with pools worth several million euros. What attracts these fortunes here is this coast, the longest and the most preserved in Europe. 40 kilometers of almost deserted beaches, even in the middle of summer. This tranquility by the sea, this is what also made Philip the Frenchman fall in love. This is where he would like to buy a villa.
It's a lot like the land's coast, but there are not the same seaside resorts and the same tourist infrastructure. Here it's much more preserved. There are just fishing villages. Behind, it's not concrete. And this solitude, this tranquility, it's an incredible luxury. I think the greatest luxury is being alone.
To find the house of his dreams, Philip decided to go to a promotional cocktail organized by a French real estate group.
I am delighted to welcome you to this small event. Do not hesitate. We are here to communicate our desire to do the project.
And also to eat.
And to eat a little bit.
Paul-Henri Halbert is the director of the company. He wants to promote his new real estate project.
Hi, are you all right?
So for these distinguished guests, there is cocktail with Petit Four, Portuguese wines, and musicians. Objective is to sell luxury villas in what will become the largest high-end real estate complex in the entire region. Because Paul-Henri's group has just bought these 10 hectares of dunes to build nearly 160 homes, from the apartment at 200,000 euros to the prestigious villa worth over 1.5 million euros. Barely born, the project is already a success. Paul-Henri has already found nearly half of his buyers and orders are still coming in.
This week we sold 3 apartments. We have about 17 appointments scheduled to re-sign and another 40 the following month.
To celebrate this great operation, the big boss of the group, Gerard Cornillon, made the trip from Leon. At his side, the mayor of the village. Together, they laid the first stone of the construction site.
Cheers. Cheers. Thanks a lot. This is the France-Portugal alliance. So even if we lost in soccer, even if you won the European Cup, we do not blame you, and we are happy that you welcome us to Portugal.
The manager is not the only one with a smile. The mayor is also rubbing his hands because these foreign investments in his village are a real blessing.
Here we have about 300 million euros in investments from the French. This is important to create jobs and especially to bring back wealth for our territory, so the French are welcome. In fact, some of them are very famous. The former president of France has a house here.
Nicolas Sarkozy?
Yes,
Where is his house?
around. I don't know exactly where, and I'm not trying to find out. Because we want to preserve the anonymity of this type of persons.
Impossible to know if the mayor is telling the truth because the presence of these celebrities in the region is perfect publicity. Paul Henry likes to boast that he has French stars as clients.
We actually have two fairly well-known singers. We will be able to mention one who is Mr. Julian Clark, who is eager to buy a villa here. We also have business leaders who want to invest here in 1 million to 1.5 million euros villas. This is already quite substantial in Portugal.
This afternoon, there is one who also seems to be on the verge of giving way. Philip, the architect, is thrilled about the project.
Some like bling bling, others like St. Tropez, with Maserati noise or big yachts. Well, everyone has their fun. Ours is to be quieter with nature and the great beaches.
The real estate agent senses it's time to make a move, so to finish convincing him, he gave an appointment to Philip in a model villa.
Look at this.
It's great.
Hits his trump card, this house of 300 square meters with its huge garden and swimming pool. Built at the start of the project, is sold at 1,200,000 euros.
The pool is great. It's really.
So it's a pool that measures 2.50 meters by 15 meters. So actually, we have plenty.
To have fun with. Well, we're going for a swim now.
Divided into several buildings, this villa is built in a traditional way, as fishing houses used to be.
You have a house as you saw on the plans. The main house, the parent section here, and then the friends section.
It's a lodge organization somewhere, with everyone in their own little house. It's really nice because I think we're more at home while being together. That's what's great about this concept.
I'll let you discover the main room, which is about 80 square meters of living room space with its famous exposed frame. This gives a first charm, a first wow effect when you get home.
Inside, the decoration is both simple and refined, seduces the architect. In total, the house has 5 ultra-luxury rooms, again built in the spirit of the region.
There, you arrive at a first bedroom, which is going to be 45 square meters.
Here, the furniture is made of masonry.
We're building hard. It's an aesthetic choice above all, but also technical, because it's very Portuguese to want to embed. They don't like adding cupboards, and we wanted to keep that style. And for us, this style sets us apart from our competitors.
The French is won over. He is already imagining himself in this dream villa.
It's a bit magical. We feel good right away, precisely because there is authenticity. There is no flashy eye. There is absolute discretion.
Do you see yourself in this house already?
Absolutely.
In Comporta, the arrival of this wealthy clientele is not without consequences. The small village is under full transformation. The church has become a bank. Hippie fancy fashion shops are taking over the central town under the haggard eyes of the locals. And even local restaurants are rethinking their menus. The most appreciated by tourists is this beach restaurant become an essential address for Philip.
Good morning.
Good morning. So here you have our fish. You have sea bass, our sea bream, sole and turbot.
It's lunchtime, and at a reasonable fee, Philip will be able to enjoy a nice sole fresh out of the ocean.
Fish costs about 30 euros. It's not just one serving, it's for 2. In fact, it's double what. In France, for that price, we would have had a sole that was twice as small. Practically, but not as muscular.
Is everything all right?
Yes, thanks.
With a glass of wine and a dessert, Philip will get away with just over 45 euros. It's not cheap, but still lower than in certain seaside resorts in the south of France. Here, the influx of wealthy tourists has seriously caused prices to spike. In 2 years, they have simply tripled.
There is a certain reputation that is beginning to spread for several years in Comporta and its region. Prices are feeling a little bit high as a result.
It's no secret here. Joao, the server, is even proud to welcome a new rich clientele and known worldwide.
We have celebrities coming here, like Madonna, for example, or Cristiano Ronaldo. They don't come here every day, but as soon as they pass by, they have lunch here. This place can be called a little paradise for stars.
A small paradise that totally seduced Philip. He has taken his decision. He is going to buy the villa from the promoter. Across the region, all institutions are now on the same page. Hidden in the middle of the forest, the only luxury hotel in the area, it also takes it up a notch on the high-end scale. This 5-star hotel, which welcomes stars like members of the princely family of Monaco, already had all the ingredients of luxury. A large outdoor swimming pool, a gourmet restaurant, a spa, and especially its villas. Fancy cabins with private pools surrounded by a pine forest. Base price for one night in this villa, 1,400 euros. It's already very expensive, but the hotel wants to hit even harder. All-day 50 workers are on the brink of war to build ultra-luxury villas. It's Gonçalo Pessoa's new ambition, the owner of the hotel.
Joel, I was looking for you. How is the villa progressing?
It's almost done. It should be good for the scheduled date.
Okay. And the pool?
Some equipment is lacking. The coating is lacking. It should be here in a maximum of 15 days. But it's going to be all right. It will be on time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
If Gonçalo is so attentive, it's because these new villas, 12 in total, even more spacious and even more expensive, should make him a lot of money. So, they have to be ready before the start of summer.
The spaces are much larger. The pools are also 15-meter pools, and the land around the houses guarantees you more privacy. The prices here are of course more expensive. The largest 5-bedroom houses get to 2,200 euros per day.
It's a very high price, but Gonçalo is sure to find customers from all over Europe, but also from the United States, Brazil, and Canada, like this client from Toronto.
I've traveled extensively, so maybe 45 countries in my life. The rice fields near Comporta, they remind me of Southeast Asia. And the beaches, it could be the Caribbean, it's so beautiful and blue. Lovely to see the little villages and people just living a regular life, and yeah, it's nice.
The hotel manager can be proud. He had flair because a little over 10 years ago, he would never have imagined welcoming stars and great fortunes here.
That building over there was the family home. Here, we had 5 rooms, the pool for us, and our friends. It was well understood that Comporta was becoming a tourist destination. There were a lot of people looking for a place to stay, and nothing existed at the time. There, we clearly understood that there was an opportunity.
Today, competition is emerging. A few kilometers away, a luxury hotel is under construction, and there are countless projects of the same kind. Surprisingly, in the corner, this new tourist fever is not always welcomed because most of the inhabitants work in agriculture or fishing. And they don't benefit from it. This is the case with George. From morning to evening, sitting on his tractor in the middle of his fields that stretch as far as the eye can see, he grows rice.
Do you have a lot of seeds or not?
A little bit.
His problem is that all this land does not belong to him. He leases them to a community. But little by little, his rice fields are being nibbled through real estate projects, and George is afraid of losing ground.
There are buildings everywhere.
They are too close to our land. The worst is this new hotel. Before, on these grounds, there was a well to irrigate our fields, and also a storage place for seeds. Instead now, there's going to be a hotel, which is right on our rice fields.
The project in question is this future luxury hotel complex. Since it was under construction, George has been angry. Because in order not to disturb future tourists, the authorities have taken a new measure that prevents him from working.
Now we are no longer allowed to use airplanes to sow rice. In addition, I can't get to that place anymore with my tractor because it makes noise and dust, and it can disturb future tourists. They feel that as they pay dearly, they come before us. So it's complicated.
George has already noticed a shortfall. Its harvests are less abundant than before, and he wonders if he will be able to survive much longer.
You have to have something to eat every day. And here, we don't earn much, 500 to 600 euros per month approximately. I live off these lands here in Comporta. They could have made sure that hoteliers and farmers get along, but they completely forgot about us.
George has something to worry about because in 10 years, the government plans to double revenues related to tourism to reach 26 billion euros. For Portugal, this is an incredible financial manna, but this mass tourism could also have perverse effects today. Residents fear that it will destroy the soul of their country. And that's what makes it so charming.